Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with a track guide for Brands Hatch in Group 3. So this is this week's current daily race C. If you're interested in the settings, we are driving on racing hard tyres with BOP on, and we have default setup. So that means no tuning, no setup changes are allowed, 100% stock car. Now I am using the RCZ. You cannot at this stage of the game change your brake bias with these settings, so maybe when they update it in the future they might allow default setups to change brake bias, but for now we are using them settings. So it's currently, this lap is currently in the top 10 in the world as an overall lap time, so I'm pretty happy with it. There is a couple of areas that I could definitely improve on it. I think I can go a tenth or two a little quicker if I really want to push it, but for a Monday lap I'm very happy with it, and we're going to go through some tips to try and help you out, and some basic stuff on this track that will gain you a lot of time, and stuff to be careful of also, because like I say, the RCZ, a car that is very good, quite stable, but it will snap if you're too aggressive with this car. So yeah, let's go into the track guide. Let's see if we can find you some pace, and remember, if you do enjoy these videos, hit the like button because they really do help the channel, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're looking forward to more of these videos to help you out. So start off, try and get a solid exit from the final corner obviously, and working your way into turn 1. Now we're going to stay to the left hand side of the track at this point because we're going to be looking for our braking point, which is going to be just after the number 2 board. You're going to see just as we go past the number 2 board, we're going to be getting onto the brakes, so just past there. And at this point you're going to be really throwing the car in. You want to get it tight into the apex, so you're going to see from pretty much 2/3 of the way to the left of the track, we're getting it into the apex. You can see you want to skim the curb on the right hand side with your right hand tire. You just want to graze it, you don't want to get too aggressive on there because it will unsettle the car. And then on the power as early as you can, leading up the hill for your next braking zone, which again, you're going to use this Palmer board as a brake reference, braking just short of the overhead board there. So now we're going to try and get the car rotated into the corner, and you want to stay quite close to the apex. I always did this since Project Cars. I keep the car very narrow into the apex and take a tight line through here, so keeping it nice and tight through the apex, close to the curb, and then on the throttle as early as you can, using some of the track width on the left. You can use some of the curb to keep the momentum out of the corner, and now you're going to be working your way over to the right hand side of the track because you want to get it swung in for this left hand corner. Now you can use that number 1 board as a brake reference, braking just short of there, and again you're going to follow that purple line, try and really swing the car in. Now what you're going to notice here with my line is I get a little bit of a drift going, and this is a lot of the physics problems I have with the game at the moment. It's a little bit drifty, but we managed to make it work, get reasonably good exit. I think we could gain a little bit of time on that corner if we get it a little bit better. But now we're going to look for the number 1 board. That is going to be your braking reference for this left hand corner, braking just short of the number 1 board. You can see there on the right hand side, just short of that. And this corner, you're going to try and rotate it in, but try and stay a little bit away from the curb on this game. Again, the curbs unsettle the car, so I try and stay a little bit away, down to 3rd gear. Now, I'm not going to go in 2nd gear. I'm going to stay in 3rd gear and let the car rotate through the corner, and then on the power, nice and early, and accelerate up the hill here, use some of the curb on the right hand side, and power our way down this straight. Now, we're going to be looking for the next braking zone, and this is another corner where the car does like to rotate, so it kind of drifts through the corner. And we're going to use the braking in between the number 2 board and the number 1 board, a little bit closer to the number 1 board. And again, you're going to try and rotate this with the gears. So we're going to stay in 5th gear, then down to 4th gear. The car's going to rotate. We're going to skim the apex on the right hand side and keep the power down to carry the speed all the way through the exit. Now we're going to be looking for our next braking zone, which is in between the number 2 and the 1 board again. Probably a little bit closer to the number 2 board though. And again, you're going to use the car momentum through this corner, skim the car onto that little bit of tarmac on the right hand side. You almost want to be just on the edge of the curb with your right hand tire. Now be careful you don't take too much off there because it will unsettle the car. And again, you can use a little bit of the curb on the left if you need to. It will actually settle reasonably okay on that curb. So now into this right hand corner, braking just short of the 1 board. You can see quite a bit short of the 1 board. That's what I use as my reference. And chucking the car in again, use some of the curb on the right hand side with your right hand tire. The car will be okay with using that curb. It won't become too unsettled. And again, there's a lot of grip on the left hand side of this track, so you can actually put the power down very early and risk going onto that grass because it grips up very weirdly on this game. Now you're using the number 1 board as a reference. If the number 1 board is not there, you can use that little bit of fence on the right hand side. Now for this corner, you want to get the car in again, chucking the car into the apex and on the throttle as early as possible. You can see getting the left hand tire onto the curb, and then getting on the throttle quickly. You're going to see straight away onto the throttle, 70%, then 100%, and then get as much momentum out of this corner as you physically can, because that will carry the speed into the final corner now. So now for the final corner, braking just short of the 1 board, again in between the 2 and the 1, closer to the 1 though, and you're going to try and use the full width of the track. You can see how we get it to the left hand side, then chuck it into the right, into 3rd gear, power out of the corner, upshift to 4th gear, and there's plenty of grip on that left hand side. A lot more than GT Sport, I think. You can be a little bit more aggressive, because GT Sport had a tendency to understeer wide. This game, with the oversteer that's in the game, you can actually be a little bit more aggressive with corner exits, and you can see there we managed to put that into P7 in the world. That is on Tuesday as well, so yesterday it was actually P1 for a short amount of time, but you know, now it's down to P7. I'm sure I can improve that lap. So let's have a watch of the lap from the chase camera, and again you can see how we keep it very tight into the hairpin here. I've always done that since Project Cars, keeping it very tight there on the power nice and early, and swinging it in from the right hand side of the curb. And you can see we get a little bit of a drift going. You can really see these drifty physics that are on the game at the moment, and I do kind of hope they sort this out, because GT3 cars shouldn't really be driving like this. You don't see GT3 cars drifting in real life, but it does seem to be quite a fast way of driving the Group 3s at the moment, almost sliding through the corners. Again, you can see it into this corner. It seems to be a way of the game is running. You can see again, almost drifting into the corner. I hope they can settle that down a little bit and give the cars a little bit more traction at the rear, because it does feel a little bit too much in my view. But I enjoy driving it like this. I have to say it kind of suits me, because I like a front end that's really strong on a car, so it kind of suits me for time trial. But I think for realism, we need a little bit more traction on the rear of the cars. But yeah, you can see going into the final corner again, using that full width track. You can see how we get to the left hand side. Be careful not to go on the grass. You can see how I skim the white line. You're going left to right to get that momentum through the corner, and then powering our way over the line for a 1 minute 22.9, which is a pretty solid lap for a Monday. I was pretty happy with that one. But if you do enjoy these videos, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with more track guides, setup videos for cars, and daily races, and also live streams. So see you all soon. Bye everyone.